Welcome back to Hypercar Updates, the series where we talk all things hypercar related to that particular month. Today, we'll go over the news, rumors, and topics from the month of February of 2023. So for episode 2 on Hypercar Updates, we will go over topics such as Pescarolo's Le Mans Hypercar entry, an update on Lamborghini's entries, and the possibility of Alfa Romeo joining the hypercar class. Those topics, along with so much more, will be talked about on this episode of Hypercar Updates. The topic I'd like to discuss first is the possibility of Acura coming to the World Endurance Championship as early as 2024. The ARX-06 made its debut at Daytona and instantly impressed by winning the Daytona 24 Hours in 2023, actually coming home first and second. Acura's new LMDH car shows that it has the pace to win championships in endurance racing, and while they have clear intentions to stay in IMSA from 2023 and beyond, it isn't exactly certain if they will be racing in the WEC just yet. When the Rolex 24 was happening last January, there was a rumor coming out that Andretti Autosport and Wayne Taylor Racing were looking to take the ARX-06 over to the WEC as early as 2024, although they would likely need approval from Honda of Japan if they were looking to get financial backing for this potential WEC project. Next, I would like to talk about a very interesting rumor: the possibility of Alfa Romeo returning to endurance racing with a Le Mans hypercar. Yes, you heard me correctly. Alfa Romeo is considering a return to Le Mans and to endurance racing in general. ItalianMotorsport.com interviewed CEO of Alfa Romeo, and he had some stuff to say on the possibility of Alfa Romeo returning to endurance racing. We'll talk about it in June. We'll make decisions about future plans at the end of May, and we'll communicate them shortly thereafter. Let's say that the announcement could take place in two places, either at the Le Mans Classic at the end of June, an event in which we are organizing something special, or at the Silverstone Grand Prix on the 9th of July. Now, this is in regard to the possibility of Alfa Romeo choosing Formula 1 or hypercar. You see, Sauber's F1 project is branded as the Alfa Romeo F1 team, and there are going to be some major changes from 2024 onward, as Alfa Romeo and Sauber are splitting because of Audi's involvement with Sauber in 2026. So if Alfa leave Formula 1 completely, this means they'll likely head over to the World Endurance Championship and race in the hypercar class at Le Mans. This would also mean that there would be a second Stellantis team on the grid in the Le Mans hypercar category, as Peugeot, who's owned by Stellantis, is already racing the 9X8 hypercar. But this wouldn't be the first time that two different manufacturers who are owned from a single organization would race in the same category in endurance racing. Just look over at Volkswagen. They have Porsche and Lamborghini, who are both owned by Volkswagen, racing in the hypercar class from 2024 onward. Let's now talk about ISOTTA FRASCHINI. They have some big news on their hypercar coming for 2023. A lot of info has been announced on ISOTTA FRASCHINI's car. The reveal date has now been announced, and Vector Sport has officially been confirmed to run the Le Mans hypercar entry. And the 3.0 V6 engine will be supplied by HWA Engineering. There's more news on this entry, but I made a full video on all the updates for ISOTTA FRASCHINI's LMH. I'll link it in the top right corner so you can watch. The Tipo 6 LMHC will be revealed on February 28th, 2023 at 3 p.m. local time in Milano. So progress is being shown on the ISOTTA FRASCHINI car. Can't wait to see it out on track. Meanwhile, 8 different kinds of hypercars were out on track testing, some in an organized test, and some just participating in their own tests. IMSA held a test for the GTP cars at Sebring, which will eventually be the second round of the 2023 season. All 4 GTP teams were out on track: Porsche, Cadillac, Acura, and BMW, although BMW only ran 1 car. Acura continued to show their pace from Daytona, setting the fastest time in Day 1 and Day 2. We also got a first look between the comparison of Le Mans Hypercar and LMDH times from Sebring. The WTR Acura's time was around 2 seconds faster than the LMH time from last year, Although I wouldn't take anything from this, as the WEC race last year in Sebring didn't show off the true pace of the Le Mans hypercars because of the BOP adjustments. Meanwhile, Ferrari completed their final test of the 499P at Monza as they prepare for the first race of the World Endurance Championship. I believe Toyota and Peugeot were also on track testing. Toyota was on track for the first time in 2023, while Peugeot was finishing up some testing in Spain at the Aragon circuit before they head out to Sebring for the first round. Alfa Romeo is not the only team considering hypercar, as McLaren is also interested in the LMDH regulations and could be the next team to start a hypercar project. McLaren has been in and out of the hypercar rumor recently, and it seems like they are getting closer and closer to announcing their LMDH project. There's barely anything to go off here, but I still want to mention this, as who knows what could happen. If they were to join, they would likely enter the WEC and IMSA, and they would probably start competing around 2025 or 2026. I also think that United Autosport would be the team that would run these McLaren entries. Meanwhile, news on the Porsche 963, as the German manufacturer confirmed that they are looking into supplying more customer entries for 2024. The rumors say that there is going to be an extra 4 teams on the grid throughout the IMSA and WEC championships. And that is including the likes of Proton Competition, AUTOSPORT, and JDC Miller Motorsports, so an extra 4 entries. Which means we could have a total of 8 customer cars on the grid in 2024, and that's not even mentioning the factory Porsches. So we could see a total of 12 963s in 2024. There's news on Lamborghini's LMDH entries for 2024, as it has been announced that there will be one single Lamborghini for the full season of not just IMSA but for the WEC as well. I do expect that there will be a second Lamborghini though at big races such as Daytona and Le Mans. We have some more exciting entry news, as Pescarolo is expected to enter the WEC Championship in 2024 with a Peugeot 9X8 hypercar. This also means Pescarolo Sport is returning to the 24 Hours of Le Mans after being absent since 2012. However, the team is no longer under ownership from Henry Pescarolo, so it's not exactly the same Pescarolo Sport team that raced in the 2000s in Le Mans. Pescarolo is expected to run a customer Peugeot 9X8 hypercar in the 2024 WEC season, kinda like how AUTOSPORT and Proton Competition are running a customer 963 Porsche. Let's talk about Bajkalis Vanwall now, because there's something that's going on that's very interesting. The legal issues are back, even though they've already been confirmed to race in the WEC. So what exactly is going on here? Well, for those that aren't aware, Bajkalis has been looking to use the Vanwall trademark to run their entry in 2023, as Bajkalis themselves cannot race in the hypercar class since they aren't a manufacturer producing cars. Their chances of racing in the World Endurance Championship in 2023 were looking pretty good, as the Vanwall Bajkalis team was confirmed to race in the World Endurance Championship and so far are still expected to make their debut at Sebring later in March. However, Bajkalis recently lost the case in which they were trying to get the Vanwall trademark to use it out on track. Now, this doesn't sound good for the Bajkalis Vanwall team, as in my opinion, this could jeopardize their whole operation and put doubt in the minds of Vanwall racing in the WEC. Although, even after this news came out, there hasn't been any official announcement that Vanwall is not racing in the WEC, so who knows, I guess we'll wait and see what happens. This final section isn't news, but a quick introduction to what is going to be happening on that race week of the WEC and IMSA Sebring races, as there's a lot going on. Let me do a quick rundown of what is taking place on which days at Sebring. So Wednesday, March 15th, we'll see Practice 1 and Practice 2 of the World Endurance Championship. And then moving on to Thursday, IMSA will start off the day with Practice 1. And then it's Practice 3 for the WEC. Then the IMSA entries get back out on track for Practice 2. Thursday also sees qualifying for the WEC, GTE AM getting the first session followed by LMP2 and finally Hypercar. And after WEC qualifying, the IMSA entries are back out on track for Practice 3 to round off Thursday. Practice 4 kicks off Friday with the 3 qualifying sessions coming from GTD Pro, GTD, and then LMP2 and LMP3, and then finally GTP. And at 12 local time, the first ever 2023 race of the WEC will begin. Finally, on Saturday, March 18th, IMSA's second round of the championship will begin at 10:10 local time. So that completes this episode on Hypercar Updates. Which topic are you interested in? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to see more endurance racing content, make sure to subscribe to the left. If you want to see more on the WEC and IMSA right now, click one of the suggested videos to the right of your screen. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Hypercar Updates, and I'll see you in the next one.